Welcome to Entertainment World Network. Today we have Mitchell, a very talented musician and singer and songwriter, and a longtime friend of mine. So it's gonna be exciting to talk to him. Hey, Mitchell, how you doing?
Hey Gary, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on. It'll be kind of fun because we'll talk about some history and I've known you for like probably 13 years or so. So we'll go
Yeah,
over
at least.
some history and talk about music and all kinds of stuff. So
Sounds good.
I met you, I think, around 2009. I was managing Jeremy Jordan, and I had written some
Yeah.
songs with him, and we assembled a band, and we were playing around LA. And at the time, you were promoting different venues around LA. How long
hmm
were you promoting venues around LA, and what venues did you promote?
At the time, I think I'd already been doing it for about 5 or 6 years, but I had a history of doing it, non-consecutively before that, just promoting and booking my friends' bands and promoting my own stuff. But at the time, I was partnered with Jay Tinsky, who's retired from the business now, and we had the Genghis Cohen, Molly Malone's, the Room Five, and I also separately from JT had the Key Club, the Roxy, Cinespace, which is now known as the Library, and the Key Club, which is now known as One Oak, amongst other places that we booked.
Yeah, and back then it was a super vibrant scene. Like I remember almost every time we
Yeah.
went out, it was packed. What was the scene like back then, and how has it evolved over time?
Oh yeah, and I failed to mention the Dragonfly is one of the
Yeah,
places.
another great
The
venue.
Dragonfly is a great example. This mid-level venue with great sound and a good environment, right in the heart of Hollywood, serves about 200. And we used to regularly bring like close to 200 to that place. But I can remember around 2011 or so thinking, wow, this things are changing. Something's happening here because um, it was already, it's LA. It's tough to get people to pay tickets, but in 2011, something really happened. Everything changed. The game changed. It was harder to get 200 people into the room, but you could get them in a virtual room somewhere, maybe Facebook or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was things were definitely changing around then.
Yeah, and then for anybody who's watching this in the future, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and that's completely altered the game because we so many things went virtual, and a lot of the artists couldn't tour and everything. So the game is really different now in the past couple of
Oh
years.
yeah, yeah. From 10 years ago to now, it's another set of you know troubling problems. But I mean, it was such a great run for such a long time. Like you said, a vibrant scene and just lots of great music. And I mean, their parties too. They're just like
Yeah.
I had the privilege of being part of so many bands shows and parties and I feel very lucky about that. But yeah, I don't know what the new scene is like right now, to be honest with you, Gary. Um, Things are definitely changing, changing
Well,
of the guard for sure.
yeah, I mean, it feels like things are starting to reopen in a big way, and all the artists are really starting to tour again, and we'll see how that goes. But going back to then, I had written "Forgotten People" with Jeremy. We walk right by. Oh, on our way home, we avert our eyes and ignore their cries. Oh, forgotten people we've learned to ignore. Forgotten people are friends before. Friends before. And I did a music video, and then I put the band together. And then when we started hitting the venues and started playing, you were one of the early promoters we met. And there was an opening in his band, and you kind of came in and became a guitarist and another singer. And it was interesting because we're trying to come up with an acoustic version of his hit song, The Right Kind of Love. For anybody who doesn't know Jeremy, Jeremy starred in the movie Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. He had a top 10 hit single, The Right Kind of Love.
I know that I can give you the right kind of love. It's the right kind of night. You're the right kind of girl. I'm the right kind of guy.
He'd been in a lot of other movies. And we were trying to get an acoustic version of The Right Kind of Love, and he couldn't crack it. And then you came up with a brilliant acoustic version of The Right Kind of Love. How did you pull that off?
I know that I can give you the right kind of love. It's the right kind of night. You're the right kind of girl, and we're right on time, oh baby. You know we can't go wrong.
Thanks, Gary. It was, I think, I wouldn't say it was easy coming up with the chords, but it was easy once I realized I'm going to be part of this exciting team with you and Jeremy. You know, it got me really motivated. I had struck up, a friendship with you guys, but knowing that, we were going to start working together, I tried to kick it into the next gear. And I can remember when the first time I met you guys and met Jeremy, and I talked to him about The Right Kind of Love because my sister, she had the cassette tape and the posters in her room, and she was definitely a Jeremy Jordan fan. So I actually remember talking to, I think, either the first or second day that I saw him, I was like, my sister was a big fan, and I can remember her playing the song. It was such a trip,
Yeah.
You have a lot of those experiences in LA though, where you're watching TV and the next thing you know, you're, having dinner or something with somebody that you admired on, television or the radio or something.
Yeah, you hung out with the Goo Goo Dolls like not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I feel very lucky, I think that, and no, they don't want you to pick a career in show business when you're a youngling, but doing that is just, giving me such a unique perspective. Not that other people don't have it, but just the kind of things that I got to see and experience, I'm just grateful for someone even like you and Jeremy for, giving me a chance to even rock out with you guys. It was so much fun.
You brought a lot of talent to it.
Jeremy.
So. And
yeah, I'm grateful that I got to because Jeremy is such a great singer. He could sing the crap out of anything, really.
Yeah,
I'm not very poetic in saying that, but it's true. He could bring it every night, and he, so much talent. I just was trying to meet him somewhere. I thought, okay, if I can musically bring it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely brought it, and you supported it in a big way, and you're a great artist yourself. And
Thanks, Garrett.
it was fun because we went down to San Diego and we all rode in this parade down there, the Mother Goose Parade in El Cajon or something, and it was a lot of fun. And you guys got to perform down there, so that was in front of thousands of people too.
That was so much fun. Yeah. And of course, Jeremy played it safe the whole time.
Yeah. And for people who know him, he came around during the 90s era of pop stars. So during like NSYNC and New Kids on the Block and all that, 98 Degrees, he was kind of in that whole genre of pop,
everything that's getting a revival right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
All that stuff that's revival right now.
And you were inspired by a different group of artists. Where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Queens, New York, home of Paul Simon and Paul Stanley. But yeah, I mean, my family, I think, were really my biggest musical influences, especially early on. My dad listened to Motown, everything from the Temptations and Michael Jackson, and my mom was a big Beatles and Joni Mitchell fan, and my sister Emily, she just loved music, so she exposed me to a lot of stuff. But music was always around. We had a piano, but I never really thought about doing anything with music, to be honest with you, Gary. Growing up in Queens, it's just not real. I mean, obviously there's a history there, but I didn't know that as a kid. I just living my life. But New York is also another big inspiration because the kids that I grew up with, playing me their hip hop records. And I remember, some kid played me a Prince record one time, and my friend Steve playing me Metallica for the first time. Yeah,
So very
I mean,
eclectic musical influences.
for sure, it's all over the board, definitely.
And when
I,
did you
I
start
like
playing
it all.
guitar?
Well, I started playing. My ex girlfriend gave me a bass when I was 16 years old, so I started picking it up around then. But I never took any formal lessons or anything. But a year later, I was in a band, and after like a nice 10-month run, I realized I better start picking up the guitar. And so when I was about 18 or 19 or so is when I started playing the guitar. I was a late bloomer, but Gary, I slept next to the guitar. I was on someone called me on the phone and I was on the guitar. I just never put it down.
Yeah,
It's just such a gift,
yeah.
such a great gift to have.
And also, you're one of the few artists I know that can play outstanding guitar and sing simultaneously and not get tripped up. Like, how long did it
Thanks,
take you to
Gary.
acquire that ability?
Well, I would definitely like what I brought to the table first in any band was singing. Um, and I had a friend in Queens. Her name was Wind, and she gave me an acoustic guitar. But she wanted to give me a lesson. That was the whole. She'll give me a guitar, but she wanted to give me a lesson. So she started showing me some Nirvana songs, and she was playing about a girl, and I just watched her hands, and before I knew it, I was playing it. But I had the basics down, but it took a while to. Seemed like kind of early I could sort of do it. I just barely started and I could already sort of do it, but I wasn't, where I wanted to be and didn't think I was good enough. It took me like 3 years before I even took my singing and guitar playing at the same time to any stage because I didn't think I had, you know, enough for the audience.
Yeah. But now it's like you can play hours of songs on end,
Oh yeah.
guitar and vocals. I mean, because I've seen you do it. I've seen you go on. You can go on almost
Yeah,
as long as you want, like a million different songs.
and yeah, and I'm happy if I play my songs, I play someone else's songs. I love to play and you know, it's been you got to put the work in, I think, no matter
Yeah.
what instrument or talent you have, even if you got something fresh out the gate, you still got to put the work.
Yeah.
Definitely like pride myself in having put in a lot of work and a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely.
And when sometimes people ask me they want a lesson, and the first one's always free because I just want to find out how dedicated you are. And if I find out you're dedicated, then I'll keep mentoring you as long as you need me,
Yeah.
basically.
And
But
early on,
yeah, I know
early,
a lot of really talented players too. I feel very lucky,
yeah.
better than me even,
And
way
you've been
better.
exposed to a lot too. I mean, you've worked with and met a lot of really talented musicians too, and that's around
Oh yeah,
LA. Like even beyond Jeremy
it's
and stuff.
I mean, and Jeremy, he's definitely has the voice of an angel. But as far as guitar players are concerned, I've met so many with the hands of the devil because they can really rock out.
Yeah.
But I would say, one of the top players I met is, Jeff from the Smashing Pumpkins. This guy can play anything. He can shred.
Yeah, he's
And
amazing.
I got a buddy named Jose from Portugal. He could play keyboards and guitar, and he's an amazing player.
Yeah, and he came on
Um,
some Zoom shows we did together too.
yeah, he
So
he came and he did keyboards, he did guitar, he did backup vocals. So he'll just show up and pick up an instrument and probably master it.
yeah, that's amazing. So the good thing is that you've worked in promotion too, because that helps with the business aspects of this business, and that's a big part of it. Um, One of the early music videos you did was for "Appreciate You," which is a great song, one of my favorites that you've done,
Thanks, Gary.
and it's a really strong music video too. And you shot on film. Like, what inspired you to do that music video?
It's so crazy. We just put out the album. I was hanging out with a great friend of mine named Wheezy. And
There's
Wheezy,
a
she's
Wheezy
a
in
real
comedy. I
good.
think there's a Wheezy everywhere. There's always some Wheezy
She,
somewhere.
she's from New Orleans, I think, originally, or possibly Texas. Her family, they're just great people. And she just said, Mitchell, what are you doing? Like, you got this new album. Like, are you gonna put any music videos? And I had all these ideas for music videos, but little did I know you needed money to make them.
It helps,
But
particularly with film.
yeah, it definitely helps. Obviously, like today, there's more advantages. Could have people are making iPhone music videos and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not film, but yeah, my friend Wheezy, she started a production company, and just a day before she had mentioned it, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna make a music video," and I really had no idea how. But I think sometimes you just have to visualize something that you want. Then there was like the actual number crunching, which, you know, that was, I mean, I have a lot of people to thank in my life that have helped me, to see my vision. Wheezy was one of them. And Leah Nielsen, she helped me every step of the way. Um, and it was really hard, but it was really cool when you saw all the cameras and the lighting. And we really had a huge crew for that music video. There's probably about 30 people on set
Oh wow.
for only a maybe 3 or 4 day shoot, basically.
Yeah.
But
It turned out great, and I'll
yeah,
link to it down in the down below the video here, so people can see it.
yeah, check it out, guys. We definitely put some time and energy into it. Hopefully, you guys can appreciate it.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
And so then Jeremy kind of moved, and we started working together more. And then our first song together was "The Future Is," and then we shot a music video for that with no crew, but I had my own 35mm camera, so we shot on film again. So you've been shot
We
on
had a
film a
crew.
number of
Gary
times.
Robinson on camera, Gary Robinson directing, Gary
Yeah.
Robinson editing.
Yeah, so you didn't have 30, but you had one person who was willing to put in 30 days.
One who's willing to do 30 jobs.
Or try at least. So that's a very political music
Yeah,
video.
you succeeded, Gary, man. You took so much. I mean, you know, you were painstaking, and you used film, which was kind of amazing too. Um, we're hardly seeing film being used these days, which me personally, I really do love it. I
Yeah.
love it better.
Well, I could
I
afford
think
to do
it's
film
it's
because I
better for
fired all the crew.
storytelling. It's
I,
you fired all the
I
crew.
fired the whole crew so I could afford to shoot on film. I called it
Everybody, you're fired.
I called that camera affectionately the backbreaker because it's like 40 pounds but so we did a very political music video, and little did we know how much more political things would get after that song was made. So it's come a long way
Wow,
since
it,
then.
it almost became a documentary, the music video,
It
and
became
released 1 year before Trump became president too.
yeah,
I
it
almost
became a prediction. Like we predicted a lot with
so
that music
insane
video.
to think about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, hopefully you guys will check that one out too.
oh,
I
I'll
think
play a
Gary.
clip from it too. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
little did we know what would happen after
little
that.
did we know. Little did we know.
Leaders alone, violent demons marking them with bloodstained hand. Bombs explode, triggers pull, fire in the sky. And the warplanes fly.
First of all, what normally inspires you to write songs? And what's your process? Because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you come up with a guitar riff first, and then the lyrics, or
Yeah, that's been the way mostly for me. Sometimes I'll have a melody, like something to sing, and then I'll try to fit it around. But usually the best way is just pick up a guitar and start, playing around. And be honest with you, like when I'm thinking about it, sometimes it almost becomes more difficult. It's going to sound a little flowery, but you almost have to remove yourself, from the writing in a way. It's very hard to do. Just step outside of yourself for a second and realize, for me, I know a lot of it comes when I feel that joy, that like the first time I picked up a guitar and how excited, you know, trying to get there, I think a lot of times is what makes a song happen for me, at least. There's sometimes a song coming up or an idea, and you have a deadline, and you just have to be a professional and try to kick some butt. But other times, I think that there's something kind of special out there, some kind of force of nature or something that allows you to have an idea that's probably out there for the taking, if that makes any sense. Because good ideas, I think a lot of people have the same ones, and especially guitar chords, they're shared by all the players who get to who play. I mean, I don't own an A chord, you know what I mean? But I think somehow, some way, every so often you get an idea or something. It's not somebody else's.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, for me, when like if I'm editing a video, sometimes you kind of have to step back and look at it as a different person, like a producer, so you can see
Yeah,
what you're bringing across. And that might be kind of the same thing with you, where you're creating a
I think it
melody,
is.
and you gotta step away from the melody and take a look at what you've created,
Yeah.
and then see where you can build around it, right?
Well, for instance, like just recently, and I think as I'm getting older too, it's a little more difficult, not necessarily to write a song, but just to keep going back into that well to find the inspiration, because there's something that's very youthful about inspiration. I think not that it's young, but it's innocent, and we were writing a song for Gary and I were writing a song for the movie with Ben Kingsley, and I've been obsessing over it for months. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally, I've never spent so much time obsessing over something before. I mean, wow. I've changed lyrics. And then you brought, thank God for Gary bringing in those great lyrics, because even before you showed up, I was for 2 months losing my mind trying to come up with something.
Well,
Oh
so that's
man.
another thing where sometimes you just got to step away and look at it from a distance again, I guess.
I think it's great to step away, and it's also good to have some like fresh ears and, you know, and a different perspective too, because, um, you know, I wouldn't say I'm caught in my own, but I don't really have, I'm able to listen to other people and understand and relate, but essentially I'm still coming from my own perspective. So
Yeah.
it's good to have, you or I always think about how Elton John had his writing partner and they're
It's
such a
funny you brought
smash
that up.
together.
Yeah, Bernie Taupin, Elton John, they just came from a different perspective, I think, and have written a number
Yeah.
of amazing songs. And by the way, speaking of film, "The Future Is" was also used in a short film, coincidentally, and that
Yeah,
somebody came to
we
you and found that, right?
yeah, they couldn't believe it. I would think it was as soon as the video came out and this lady contacted us and she wanted to use The Future Is, and I think her movie was What Future, or
Yeah,
I think was the title. What Future,
yeah,
which is interesting too because it almost seems like The Future Is has been a tagline that's been used in everything from, you know, Tylenol to women's running shoes or something.
yeah.
We think we really might have been ahead of the curve there, Gary,
I
without
think so.
realizing it.
So let's move forward, and then we co-wrote another song, the Goodbye song, and that was inspired partly by uh, me breaking up with my ex-wife, but also you lost your father at the time, and
Yeah, I mean, my father passed away, and and you lost your love, and I just while we were coming from different perspectives, like you said, um, I think it was trying to figure out how to get that loss in there, so people who have experienced the loss can maybe have some comfort. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's why I think my dad into the mix, because dealing with grief, everyone has different, you know what I mean? And after reading some of your lyrics too, I realized I needed to go a little deeper, because you'd been married, Gary. I mean, holy cannoli. I mean, that is commitment right there.
Yeah. Well, when I
But
make a lifelong commitment, I keep it for like 6 months or so. So I'm very big on that commitment.
yeah, it's that's a promise that you like to keep.
Yeah, but the song came out great, and I'll play a clip from it.
Think about you every day, down the road and miles away, far away, far away. The darkest place you rescued me, shine a light, set me free, set me free. You held the key. Oh, baby, you don't have to fight whether you were wrong or right. Spotlight so bright.
Yeah, and that was another song where, because I think back to when I did my first song with Jeremy the Forgotten People, we did that in no time. It's like we wrote the song very quickly.
Yeah, just
I
bang it
We
right out,
recorded
huh?
it and shot the music video the same day. And the Goodbye song, I just had a conversation with an amazing record producer named Ilya Solomon Zeta, who works with Max Martin quite a bit. And he said, we take we take a long time on these songs. It can take a year. And so I said, like, let's take our time. Let's craft it. Let's make it the way we want. Let's bring in
Yeah,
everything. And we really took a long time on that song. I think it turned out great. And then we also have created a remix too. So
and
there's
don't
music
forget,
videos.
somebody wanted to use that song for a movie also.
Yeah. Oh wait, did
Actually,
somebody?
when I saw and heard the Goodbye song in that movie, um,
Oh, I completely forgot. The Goodbye song was used at the end of Altitude Not Attitude, a documentary.
a
Um,
great documentary, a
yeah,
great movie, very sad too, and also uplifting at the same time.
yeah.
And
And
when
I
we,
coincidentally was I did the movie trailer for the documentary. So then coincidentally, I was working with one of the producers, and we put it in there as a temp song, and it really worked. And so the Goodbye song is at the end of that documentary, Altitude Not Attitude.
great movie, guys. Um, I don't mind saying you guys should definitely check it out. It's a great movie with a great story and a great message. And yeah, the Goodbye song as well. Um, Hearing it on the big speakers was really a treat too. When those movie surround sound speakers, it really, when sometimes I think it's hard. When you have your own thing, you're looking at it differently than most people. And it took me a long time, I think, to look at it differently. It took going to that movie.
Yeah.
I was always proud of the Goodbye song, but you're always proud of your work if you put it out there. You gotta have some pride, otherwise why put it out there? But what I mean is, it wasn't. I didn't really. All of a sudden, when the speakers were playing it and the bass was pumping, I realized, wow, we really did something here. It was such a moment. I'll never forget it. Actually, it was a big moment
Yeah,
of
just to clarify
realization.
for the viewers, we went to the premiere of the movie, of the documentary, in a big theater and got to hear our music for the first time on like an amazing, amazing sound system instead of like the car sound system or a little iPod or
Yeah,
iPad or whatever. So it was just a very different
Bluetooth
experience.
speakers.
Yeah, I mean, and also to hear your voice blasting out of these huge, theatrical speakers must have been a cool thing.
I couldn't believe it, and because of where it was in the movie, it really was a poignant moment. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, I was almost like outside of myself. But for me, for being from New York, that was a Hollywood dream right there. So hearing your music, and I couldn't believe it, even, to be honest with you.
Oh, great.
It was, Yeah, Gary making magic happen.
well, we all it was a team effort, but it was great that it worked out like that, and we got to see our song at the end of a really inspirational film. There's so many films out there that they aspire to something, but they don't have a big effect on people. You just kind of forget them. But that's a film you're not going to forget if you see it. One of my favorite songs you've put out was very recent. 3 a.m. is, I think, musically one of your strongest songs. I think it's outstanding. And
Thanks, Gary.
so everybody ought to look it up on Spotify. Mitchell, 3 a.m. And he's got two other albums, Inside My Heart and Mitchell. So a self-named album too. And they're great songs. And what inspires you to write those songs?
I don't know if some of it is just therapy for me, Gary, because sometimes just like letting the song out, feels like, oh, like just feels so free, once it's out of me. But every so often, a few of them seem like, hey, maybe other people might like this one. I really do think that while I write for myself, I really write for an audience. People listen and hopefully enjoy it, whether it's at home, CD, or live at the show. I really do. As I'm getting older, I realize I really do like to entertain people, and I'm grateful for all the times I got to step on stage, and do that. But my dream was always to write an album, or to get a song out there that everybody knows.
Yeah.
I actually think that this one that we're writing for the movie, Gary, I'm really looking forward to people hearing it.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be coming out soon. So,
Yeah.
we'll have to have everybody follow you on social media. What social media should people follow you on?
You can go to Instagram and get me at Mitchell Schaefer. And also, Gary, if you'd be so kind to put the Spotify right here.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Apple Music or Spotify. Come find me. I'm just not on MySpace anymore.
I am. That's where I'm trying to build an audience. I think I could finally do it. So, MySpace is the
No, it could
future.
work this year. You never know. I could see MySpace trending in
Hey, you
2022.
never know. Crazier things have
You never
happened.
know.
So, but what you said
Right.
about appreciating your time on stage. I mean, now during the pandemic is when I think back to all those times, like at the comedy store performing stand up, or coming to see you perform music. It's like you realize
Yeah.
that all those are special moments. So it's
Yeah, looking back on them, it's crazy. I think that you were at one of my shows where, it was a late night show, it was a last minute gig, and I think about it so fondly. I don't remember there being a lot of people. I remember myself getting angry during the show. But when I look back on it, I realized, hey, that was a night, all
yeah.
my friends, and they actually liked the show. So I can't really, you know what I mean?
No, you always bring it live. You've always brought it live. So one of
Thanks,
my
brother.
one of my favorite shows of yours, and unfortunately it happened after a very bad time. Michael Jackson just died,
Uh,
and you kind of did like a tribute at Cinespace in Hollywood. Tell me about that show, because that
I
was
couldn't believe it. Michael's my hero. Michael Jackson, for
mm,
all you out there that think badly or poorly of him, he's my hero. Always will be. Um, I don't think. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I don't think he did it anyways. Long story short, um, I don't
well,
think he did
whatever
the
you think
bad
of
things. I
him.
don't think
It,
they did the bad things that people say about
yeah,
him. That's
I
why
mean,
he's still my hero. Anyways,
he's
when he passed
definitely.
away,
Oh, I'm sorry. I just
yeah,
want to say he's definitely, without a doubt, one of the greatest entertainers in history. So
he's my hero. You put on his record, and if you're not feeling good, I guess everyone can think about all these other things and feel badly. But if you just listen to the music, the production, the voice, the beat, even just sometimes his, choice of stories or whatever, it's just it always makes me smile. That's all I know.
yeah.
And it's not like an outside smile; it's on the inside. But
And that's what music
when
does.
I
Good. That's what great music does for you.
yeah, my buddy called me, my guitar player called me. He said, "Oh, Mitchell, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "What are you talking about? So sorry?" He goes, oh, Michael, he's not doing good. I turn on the news, I see what's going on. I couldn't believe it. I was, of course, stunned in a way with Michael. You expect the unexpected, but the last minute, I just decided, Michael's my hero, and it was the day that he passed away, and we had the show,
Mhm.
so I thought it was apropos. We tried to give a Michael look for the. I don't know if you can remember, but when I was walking down the street in that outfit, and people were just honking their horns, yelling Michael and screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost, I'm such a when it comes to like doing like overt things like that, I'm kind of shy about sending my love that way. But I guess with Michael, I had no choice in a way. It just
Yeah. Well, I'll never
man,
forget
I still
because
can't believe he's going for something.
you did these very subtle, understated moves as like a tribute to him while you were performing, and I'll just never forget it because it was so subtle and nice.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, he's my hero. I've said it probably like 60 times already, but I mean, he's brought so much music and love into the world. It's so sad. I feel sad that, people think of him as some kind of monster. I'll be honest with you, Gary. I think that if he just, I love Michael, and I'm just going to say this. I never said it in public before, but so many plastic surgeries, I think, left Michael bruised and battered, you know.
Mm.
And I think maybe if that hadn't happened, the world might not have seen him as the monster they've portrayed him to be. Because
Yeah.
I think he's pretty simple kind of guy, actually, in a lot of ways. Just out there busting his butt, workaholic, perfectionist, you know,
And an artist,
creating
an
things
amazing
that
artist.
are living beyond, his. I hope at least Gary one day, we'll write a song that'll be here when we're not around.
Yeah.
I hope the same thing for us,
Yeah.
we have something special out there that can't be like Michael, but maybe one or two,
Well,
stick
that's the
around a
goal.
little
That's the
while.
goal of an artist is to leave something everlasting like that. So
Future is could be the one. I actually think Future is it needs more press because the message is so simple.
mm,
Just making the life that you want. Future is what we make. And I think that's a real powerful message. It doesn't even really need to be political when you think about it.
yeah.
It's just manifesting what you want out of life.
Yeah, and I think I told you my first work ever in LA, I interned for Quincy Jones Entertainment, and it's so weird that I interned for Michael's producer on some of those albums, and then ended up working with you, and you're connected to Michael, so there's this connection of music from me, Quincy, and you and Michael, and this common thread of really trying to create
Yeah, and you
memorable
worked
music.
with him, and there's always like with Michael, there's always some kind of 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah,
Working with Michael because he really did work so hard and touch so many lives, and I mean he was the music business for a while.
yeah,
His success was a trickle down effect on the music business that lasted for as long as Napster wasn't around.
yeah.
Basically, the big. I mean, I guess where it is now with the free downloads and everything. The cool thing I think is that you have so much control over what you can listen to, unlike you've ever had. I mean, you can shape playlists and listen to albums and find things that been buried for a long time. But uh, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
kind of
all
miss the
available
old
now. It's all
days.
available on demand for anybody who wants to view it. So
It's pretty impressive. I mean, for us, who lived in a time where not that it was scarce, but you couldn't get it at your fingertips like this. I mean,
right.
you'd have to spend thousands of dollars to have the kind of library, that's available to you right now. But I do, like I said, I kind of miss the old days because people, put their money where their mouth is, back then. And when they want to support their artists, they just, open the wallet. Now it's a little more tricky supporting your artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when everyone's vying for a fat Instagram page, the tides have definitely turned.
Yeah. Well,
I'd
this has been
like
great.
more followers and less money, please.
Yeah. So, like I said, everybody can follow Mitchell online on Instagram,
Please do.
Spotify, and I'll have links to it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and talking to me a bit. And we're gonna get back
Gary,
to
it's a
work on some more
pleasure, man.
music.
Thanks for taking your time with me, buddy.
Oh,
You're
thanks.
the
It's always
man.
great. It's always great. We're gonna get
Keep it rolling, buddy.
back to the studio and get some more work done. Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Please follow Mitchell on his social media and Spotify, and we'll see you soon. And thanks a lot, Mitchell, for coming out again.
Gary, thanks so much for having me. And thanks everyone out there for listening.
Great. And he'll have more music soon, and we'll have more collaborations coming together soon. So we'll see everybody soon. Thank you.